Hey Gavox here, welcome to my Madden 19 Retrospective, my review and thoughts on the game as the year comes to a close, looking back on a year of ups and downs as we move into 20. So let's get right into it. Madden 19 cannot be talked about without talking about first the unbalanced gameplay. We had crossers. Pat Sale took over the ladder for the longest time, and I know in previous Maddens, you know, maybe we didn't play as many, like in the old school stuff, we didn't have as much of the issue with this because we didn't have as much head-to-head online experience. 19 is as bad as the previous few Maddens when it comes to that online experience with the powerful, the crossers beating both man and zone. Contains got nerfed, but before that, contain blitzes were an issue. Just all across the board, there were so many things that were way too powerful or way too underwhelming to really use. The developers on the gameplay side really need to figure out how to balance their game better. And that's like the most important thing. It's easier said than done, of course, but it is their job as professionals to take care of that for us. So let's just go through some of the things that were overpowered. Blitzes and O-line blocking. O-line blocking sucked. We can make blitzes so that O-linemen forget that there are people running at them. Mobile quarterbacks, after the contain nerf, even took off even more than they were beforehand, because that's about the time when thresholds took over that made those mobile quarterbacks what they were. Playmakers overpowered. Route chemistries were introduced mid-year with no counter on the defensive side of the ball. There are so many zones that just don't play some of the routes that not being able to fix that and introducing this whole like can of worms, this Pandora's box that was barely closed due to hope being left in the chest by all of us Madden players that it's still a good game. It just kind of causes mass confusion. I didn't know how to end that sentence. Gun bunch and trips took over. The gun bunch has been powerful for what, 4 years now. It's insane to me that the developers don't know because of the blocking and gun bunch and some of the route chemistries and stuff you can do with it now, whereas it used to be plays. But because of the blocking in there, it just makes it like so much better than many other formations. Then we had trips this year. Next year it looks like tight sets depending on how they tune the game before it launches. Guys, stop playing the runs versus their assignments versus the run. Talking about underpowered stuff. Linebackers still have a hard time recognizing counters. They kind of get stuck in their boots. Linemen can get to them very easily, even though they're the best linemen. I mean, these are Ray Lewis types, top end middle linebackers that are literally just have their fleet planted against the run. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking. I should slow down. So the run was only stopped this year because you can man up safeties and to play the run really well. That's basically what stopped it from being a run first year, in my opinion. I mean, obviously shooting gaps helps a lot too for top end players. But like the lack of force defender, like I said, and reads from the defense hurts quite a bit. Linebackers jump picks were very frustrating this year. Being able to intercept the ball 15 yards downfield, it's been a thing for the past Maddens. Looks like it's solved next year, so hopefully that's gone. Players at the line of scrimmage, there was like the shuffle. People shuffle too fast. The spacing in this game sucks. Like players are able to press against the line of scrimmage, but because you play sticks, they're not able to beat deep. Safeties can be brought up at linebacker depth, and they can run as fast as a Randy Moss on a straight vertical right back in order to knock down a ball. Linebackers and users ran faster than wide receivers, and with the one cut motion could actually cut faster than players can run straight ahead. That was crazy. It made for like more fun gameplay, but it was unbalanced. QBs threw off the back foot too much, and like I said, the safety spacing. So just some of the treats of the online experience summed up in that like paragraph or two from some of the unbalanced game back. So let's go into MUT, then we'll get into franchise, Longshot, and stuff near the end. So content. I thought content in MUT was very good through the Super Bowl and even slightly past that with the team builder sets. And theme teams, I think, were the greatest thing that came about this year. Obviously, we had all the standard MUT programs, a lot of this stuff that we've seen in previous years. Rinse and repeat a little bit of this, so there's not much innovation this year outside of alternate currencies, which they stole from Madden Mobile. And alternate currencies and Madden Mobile helped ruin that game, as we had Madden Mobile Slay on the podcast a while ago, and he helped explain that to us. So alternate currencies, ass. We'll go a little bit more into them lately, but with the team builders and the theme team chem, I hope that's something that does not go away next year. Like I've said in the past, there's a few ways of doing chemistries and fixing chemistries for the next year. I've done a video about chemistries. I'm going to kind of tighten it up. Basically, how you fix them next year, you nerf them, make them less powerful, which is the lazy way of doing it and kind of the way I expect them to do it. You make stats go over 100 so the players still keep standing out even with these insane chem boosts, and you be able to chem boost your team to make it more customized. Or 3, you just start the cards lower overall. So I think what they'll do is the first one, sadly, maybe a little bit of the starting lower overall. They've talked about rating spread, even though I gave my thoughts on why the rating spread isn't all that it's cracked up to be. So after the theme team, after the team builders got through, it was a dry off season. We were very frustrated as a community, and I hope next year, they've said they have a plan for it. We'll see if it bears out at all. But chemistries and sprinter, a lot of people complain that they were OP too. I could see that argument, but really a lot of this stuff became bad for the game after the Super Bowl. Once all those cards started hitting 99, basically got hard capped right there. So take off the hard cap, let us explore ourselves and the further of the betterment. I don't know how to end that. I just think it makes for a better game, more exciting. MLB The Show does it, and I think it's just a better experience for the users. Promos, like I said, very much like the problem, and I feel like the producers for Ultimate Team are kind of in a bind. How much are they stuck to the past, and how much can they innovate off of it? Like, all this stuff is kind of like shit we've seen before, but if we missed any of it, we'd be furious as a community. So like, we come to expect this stuff, so it's really hard that they have to innovate inside of our baby rage as a community. I think the community needs to be listened to, but in some sense, they need to be innovated over. Like, you need to wow us. Like, we'll say, hey, we want free agency content, combine content, whatever. But then, in addition to this stuff, the harvest, the Thanksgiving stuff, you got to innovate over top of that. Don't give us the same promo, the sets inside of sets shit that we get over and over. You need to show us something. I know alternate currencies were one of them. Fizzled out. A couple other innovations we'll get to in a little bit. But overall, the innovation on the content this year, kind of a letdown. Very standard stuff. And hope next year it's better. So I'm not rating stuff out of 10. Last year I did this when I rated it out of 10. I'm not going to do that this year. I feel like forces a number. But that's something I hope they do better next year. We get consistent content, but that it changes. All right, so solos. How was the solo stuff this year? Let me go to my numbers. How many solos did your boy Fox play this year? I played 1,291 solos. So I got on the solo grind a little bit this year. I thought promo solos were wonderful. Solo battles were good for people. I said they were going to get very boring after a while. They got very boring for me. I know people did them all year because it was easy coins every week when you get Ultimate Top 100 if you really put a lot of time into it. So solo battles was a great innovation this year. I think it's something... Was that new to Madden, or did FIFA have this first? I think FIFA may have had this first. But it was good that they brought it over and kind of gave solo grinders something to do on a weekly basis. Again, not something I engage with a lot outside of like level grinding and those weeks that we got kind of glitchy solo battle drops. So solos this year, the long stuff, the journeys, some of them were just terrible. Journeys, this was bad. A Nat 99 Jarvis Landry. That wasn't even the worst. Sorry, this McCoy was the worst. The Landry wasn't bad. Then McCoy was fucking terrible. But then there's some better ones. I think the best one was the Gauntlet. The best long solos of the year that kind of everybody kind of agreed that kind of rocked the world. Even I did them. They were hot. So solos, solid job this year, in my opinion, adding solo battles. And next year you're changing up the whole system. We'll see how that is received by the community. After that, we got objectives. Pretty standard objectives. Pretty similar to last year. We got daily, weekly. There's loyalty. There's captain tokens. We also had Mutt Master, which, again, I think that you could do this for cards. I like this kind of grind for stat kind of grinding, kind of like MLB The Show had. But Mutt Master should be something different. I don't think there's anything masterable about going into a solo. You don't see it here because it's off the screen right now. Going into a solo and throwing 100-yard bombs to your best receiver for 10 hours straight. There's nothing Mutt Masterful in there. That's just boring grinding. That there's like, well, just because people want the card quick doesn't mean we need to adapt it. I mean, people should just get it naturally. I think that's such a terrible fucking excuse for your stat grinds. You gotta make your game fun and the grind fun. That's gotta be your main goal. If you say, oh, people will just try to accomplish it really fast and they're taking unfun ways of doing it. No, make the way of doing it fun. That is your job as a game designer. Figure it out. I talked about objectives. Levels I thought were great this year. I think MLB The Show is way more generous with their level grind. You get better cards through the level grind than you do in anything else. Even buying packs in MLB The Show, it's kind of backwards from Madden. I didn't think the level grind was good. The only downside of level grind is that you could see EA's greed kind of take and infest themselves, because some of these packs could only be bought with money. Make those the ability to buy with coins, those packs, to make your people like be able to actually like, you know, get rewarded from a level grind. So I think that is something that was pitiful. I think that level grind was a bad job. They don't allow you to get all this stuff for in-game currency. Next up, packs. If you were smart and bought packs at the right time at the right value, I think packs were fine this year. Overall, if you're just buying packs over and over, you're going to lose your shirt. But throughout the entire year, this get a player pack, not the whole year, but a good portion of the year, especially when power-ups started to get added every Sunday later in the year, early in the year, to get a player pack, very profitable. Not very profitable. It was profitable, and it took a long time, but it was worth it. Because silver, they had some value there in those silvers, and it was kind of nice. You'd pull some golds too. But they do need to add a little bit more of the gambling sets, as I'm going to get into sets in a little bit, to kind of provide more value to low-end elites, golds, and silvers. That is something that they've really struggled with this year. Something that we saw in the past that they had ideas for, and they implemented them. Something that was weirdly left out this year. So that was sad. So, I again, on the packs, I didn't love their artificial price floor of 500k for the limited time legends, and the limited time legends are very hard to pull. I think it was a huge step up and a huge shout out to them and the mounting pressure that the community is putting on them in order to give us odds on the packs. Give us odds for limited time cards when they're released. That would be the next step forward, besides for just the probabilities here. So please, EA, give us even more details on the probabilities, as it's really nice, and especially with the currencies and the other stuff that we got, having that probability helps us figure out what's profitable to do. So if you're going to be back alternate currencies, even though I don't want it, even though I prefer the alternate currency stay with just training, I feel like they're going to do it as that's kind of like their key going forward, it feels like. Give us all the odds in order to allow us to kind of like figure out what's what, and stop hiding this stuff from us. That's the worst. When you obscure information, you keep it out, you keep your customers in the dark. I hate that. I really do hate that. So yeah, besides the limited times, that was what it was. Card art, the borders are trash. I don't know why you haven't changed your borders yet. Who the fuck? What kind of cards has that kind of borders? Yeah, that's trash, dude. Make it an actual card art. Make it a card. We're playing with cards. You're giving us these weirdly squiggly lines on the edge. Like, at least pretend that they're cards, not just like this make believe. I don't know. Maybe I'm stretching there. Maybe people are pissed. Maybe people are like, oh, that's really minor. I don't know. I hate the borders. I think the borders need to go. The card art itself would be nice if it loaded in your menu screen. Like, how weird is it that your servers just don't load up half the art? There it goes. All right, all the art loaded here. Sweet. Now we'll just go and navigate through our binder. Huh. So going over the defense, I can't see my outside linebackers, my free safety, strong safety. This happened over and over. Why doesn't it load? It's cool and all, but I just don't see it. That's your card art? Good job, EA. Really good job. Terrible. But otherwise, the card art is definitely a step up from 18. I don't know if it's quite hit that stride. It's missing a little bit something from the good old days, like 16 with those old Ultimate Legends. Remember that, like, Boss Megatron? Was that 16? 17? Yeah, I think it was 16. Yeah, that shit rocked in the past. But yeah, I think this year was a good job. Obviously, there's some kind of, like, whatever. Like, the draft was terrible. That card art was bad. But that was probably by the time the rookies took over. Mutt squads. They added duos. Great job. It was something the community wanted. I don't know how much the community engaged with it. I am not a big squads player. I hate relying on other players because they tend to make me angry when they blow it. So squads, I see their community is building, and it's still a small portion of the Madden community overall, but they're still putting effort into it. So congrats. I know there are some people at EA that are big fans of squads, so I foresee its continued investment. All right, next up, salary cap is another mode here. I didn't really play it under seasons. I don't know. I may have played salary cap once this year. I don't remember, but didn't really invest much time into it. Was really no reason to. Rewards or whatever. I guess the rewards are $1 million, right? You get $1 million if you're the best salary cap player, or something like that, or like $500,000 by winning those tournaments. So the rewards technically were worth it if you're good at the game. But Mutt Draft, they still fucked up Mutt Draft, right? The ranking system in Mutt Draft is terrible. Like, they do it for the competitive reasons. Mutt Draft shouldn't be a competitive mode. MUT draft should be you play the guys that are at the same win level as you. So it gets progressively harder as you go up the ladder. Right now they have it just based on elo. So what you do is just tank your elo in MUT draft. You lose 5 games, place you at the lowest rank, and then you got reasons, the easy way to level up. We've been doing it all year since the start. It's even last year I think we did it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like developers don't understand what makes their game and how to properly match players, because seasons matchmaking is also terrible. Weird. I don't know if they have that like matchmaking algorithm that's like, hey, maybe you'll spend more money if you match it like this. I think that's in the game, but they need to go back to something better. They need to go back to level. Like if you're at certain like all pro, you play versus all pro people. And if you want to know information about how I think people should match up against each other, let me know. I can easily provide it. I'm not going to go into depth here though. Servers were solid this year outside of disconnects and desyncs, which were a huge problem. So I say solid, but I really mean kind of liquid and fluid. And desyncs, I don't know if they're a server issue or just a game issue, but the servers, I only got a few disconnects this year that were caused due to not me and my internet. So for that purpose, fine. I did see some server issues around when like some limited time packs would drop. That's when it got really chuggy and started pushing people off. So winding up more servers for that situation is definitely needed. But otherwise, I think the servers were fine this year overall compared to other sports games, especially like 2K. Longshot was trash and a step down from 18. But I have faith 20 is going to be better than 19. They got the QB1 instead of Longshot, so that is very neat going forward. But I probably won't fucking touch it because I really don't have any faith in those people. But, you know, a step up from, you know, dirt is still a step up. Weekend League went unchanged from the previous years. The rewards were fine. They need to be better a little bit for lower finishing players. Guys I saw at the top end of the ladder complained a lot about the lack of rewards, but in my opinion, I think they were rewarded perfectly fine. Your boy Savage had said on multiple occasions he never had to buy a pack with his team, with his top end team, between like December or even like October and January. So if you're just playing Weekend League, you don't even have to buy packs because of how well you play. That's, I think, a successful mode. So that is it for the retrospective. My overall grade for 19, I think if I'm going to give one final grade out of 10, overall, the year, it was okay. The gameplay was a bit of a letdown more than MUT. And, you know, I criticized MUT a lot more than gameplay. But gameplay, that was really kind of what's holding this game back. I think Madden Ultimate Team is the best of the Ultimate Teams overall, except for the end of the year where they gave us a sour taste in our mouth later on in the year. I think early on it was solid though until after the Super Bowl. So overall, I think Madden itself, it is a fine product. I wish it was better. We strive on a daily basis to get feedback to make it better. I know the developers want it to be better. They just kind of restricted a little bit by the resources they're given by the top end, but you know, they have so many resources that we are pouring into it with our cash that it should be better, and we deserve better. So with that said, I think 19 deserves a 7.9 overall. Good, not great. Critical in certain areas, sometimes more than others. I know some people, the Ultimate Team can handle it. They can change this stuff. They have shown their ability to fix the issues. So I'm hoping they step up their game. The gameplay team, I think, is the #1 team that needs to step their shit up, though. So with that, what do you guys think? Overall on 19. I know I'm going to get a lot of trash comments, but just try to think long term. The game, I rage quit the game on launch night because of how bad the gameplay was, and late into the year, it was the same shit. Still a lot of frustrations, but I do think the game did get better through the year because a lot of the shit that we might not have known at launch was there at launch, that they patched it out. So here's to a good 20. That is it for 19. Thanks for watching. This will be, I think, my last 19. This will be my last 19 video. So thanks for watching this year. On to 20 and on to the greatness that we will come upon. Hopefully. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching Call to Action. I'll see you later, 19.